Nadia lived a gray, unremarkable life, like a shadow stuck in the corner of a forgotten city. She worked as a waitress in a small diner on the outskirts of town. In her early 20s, she was beautiful in a quiet way, with features touched by a kind of silent sadness. Nobody knew much about her, and she didn't need them to. Each night, she would close the door of her tiny rooftop room and vanish from the world. She lived with her brother, Rami, a restless, reckless man who drifted between shady deals and aimless fights. He was more burden than safety, but she had grown used to that. One evening, a sharply dressed man walked into the diner. He was in his late 40s, wearing a tailored suit, a gleaming watch, and a smile full of self-assurance. His name was Medhat, a well-known businessman, the owner of several companies, and a man with deep political and financial ties. He began frequenting the place regularly, always sitting at the same table, ordering the same dish, and insisting Nadia serve him. She didn't understand why. She felt danger radiating from him. And yet, she didn't push him away. Their interactions grew. One day, he proposed. The whole neighborhood was stunned, including Rami. Nadia said yes, calmly and without hesitation. Overnight, she went from a rooftop room to a grand villa, from faded clothes to designer dresses, from silence to whispered envy. The world watched in awe, but no one knew what truly lay behind those gates. As time passed, cracks appeared. Medhat had a room he kept locked at all times. He wrote in codes, answered late-night calls in hushed voices, and snapped at her questions. One night, Nadia overheard him on the phone, his tone tense and threatening. "If those recordings get out, not even running will save you. You know who you're dealing with." That night, she didn't sleep. What recordings? Who was he threatening? Why did fear creep into her bones like frost? The next day, while he was away, she unlocked the forbidden room using a key she'd stolen while he slept. The air inside was cold and sterile. Monitors lined the walls, hard drives stacked in boxes, files labeled in red ink. The screens played videos. Some showed women being manipulated, others humiliated. There were audio files, surveillance footage, and detailed profiles. Medhat was running a blackmail empire. He recorded everything, meetings, affairs, secrets, and used it all. Nadia's breath caught in her throat. She realized she wasn't a wife. She was a project, a target, or perhaps the next victim. She called her brother, Rami, and told him everything. He came immediately, bringing with him their childhood friend, Kamal, a small-time lawyer with a reputation for cleverness. Kamal was calm, sharp-eyed, and dangerous in the way quiet men sometimes are. He said there was only one way out, to take control before Medhat destroyed her. And so the plan was born. It had to look like a robbery gone wrong. They would use Medhat's own gun. Nadia would scream. They'd erase footage, burn papers. Everything had to feel chaotic, random. The night arrived. Nadia executed it all. The gun, the scream, the panic. The police came. She told them she was attacked. There was no reason not to believe her. It was self-defense, or so it seemed. But cases like this don't die so easily. Investigators began to poke holes. No signs of forced entry. No missing valuables. And Nadia's reaction? It was too clean, too calm. She was held for questioning, and when no one would take her case, a young, idealistic lawyer named Asser stepped forward. Fresh-faced, passionate, and determined to prove himself, he believed her story, or wanted to. But the more he dug, the more the ground shifted under him. Financial records showed large sums wired to an account in Nadia's name, months before her marriage. Hidden emails, a void in the security logs, a pattern of lies. Then came the breakthrough. While visiting Kamal under the pretense of legal discussion, Aser spotted an old notebook, a plan written in cold ink. Seduce Medhat, marry him, fake a robbery. destroy the evidence. At the back of the notebook was a photo of Kamal and Nadia, years ago at a private party, kissing. The truth hit like a truck. Nadia hadn't been pulled into this. She had orchestrated it. She and Kamal were lovers, plotting for years. Medhat was never a husband. He was a target. Aser confronted her in prison. She denied everything with steely calm. Her voice didn't tremble. Her gaze didn't shift. "I married a man who blackmailed women," she said. "That's the truth. Isn't that enough?" It wasn't. Aser prepared for the final hearing, gathering documents, photos, digital proof. The night before court, he stayed up late working, and that's when someone came. The next morning, the city awoke to breaking news. Aser had been found dead in his apartment, stabbed once through the heart. No fingerprints, no security footage, just silence. Nadia's case collapsed without him. There wasn't enough evidence. The court cleared her. She inherited everything and disappeared. Months later, on a tropical island in Southeast Asia, Nadia sat at a beachfront cafe, dressed in white, sipping red wine. A man approached her, bearded, wearing dark sunglasses. He sat beside her without a word. She smiled. "I wouldn't have gotten away with it without you, Aser." He smirked, removed his glasses. "You wouldn't have finished your plan without my death." He was alive. His death had been staged, the trial sabotaged, the evidence buried. They clinked glasses. The real story was never about guilt or innocence. It was about who could write the truth and who could erase it.